Okay, we're going to look at MLA for career paper. First item we're going to look at is the works cited, then we'll move into the actual heading of the paper, and then we'll spend some time on in-text citations. When you're looking at a personal interview, I want you to note that this is the person whom you interviewed. This is the last name, the first name, and then the type of interview. This one is a personal interview, so I would have sat down face-to-face with Tom Jones on the date of October 13th, 2013. If you choose to do an email interview, that is fantastic. When you look at the setup of it, you need to have the person whom responded to your questions. So the situation would have been, I sent Tom Jones an original message entitled Job Interview of an Accountant, and then he responded, and that's why this subject, okay, this is the subject of the email, and response to or regarding job interview of an accountant. And the message was to me, and I am the author. Looking at job shadow, we're going to treat this like an interview, like a personal interview, but we're going to call it job shadow instead. So you have the person that was shadowed, the item job shadow, and the date the job shadowing took place. Looking at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you should have at least one source. I highly recommend the Occupational Outlook Handbook, and you can look at the Occupational Employment Statistics. There are probably more sources on the Bureau of Labor Statistics. However, these are the two we're going to focus on today. This is what the Occupational Outlook Handbook looks like. I want you to note that this is the article title. So based on what your occupation is, this is going to be the article title. This will be the publication title, and you'll have to add the addition to it. No matter if you click on any of these tabs, this is the article title. I know some of us will be tempted to just scroll down to the end of the page and find the suggested citation, and as I said in class a few times, this is not correct, so avoid copy and pasting that. There are multiple reasons why this isn't correct. One, there's no article title. It's down here. It's not punctuated correctly. This is an old edition. When you look at BLS now, it'll be I think the 2013, 2014 edition. I don't want URLs, so you shouldn't have that. You should have a publication update. So you get my drift. That's not correct, so we're not going to use it. You scroll down further into the page, and you're going to see a publication date. You can see that highlighted on the screen right here. Therefore, you're going to need to make sure that you include that date in your in your works cited entry and in your notes. When we look at a works cited for the Occupational Outlook Handbook, as I stated before, the accountants and auditors are the article title name. The Occupational Outlook Handbook 2012-2013 edition is the publication name. That's why it is italicized. And then you have the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is part of the U.S. Department of Labor, next, and then the date it was updated, and then web, because that's the medium, and then you have the date that I accessed it. If you go to bls.gov, and EasyBib, and you plug in bls.gov, it's URL, you're going to get this, and this is not correct. So I'm going to caution you from using the EasyBib or the Senate citation machines, because as you can see from this screen, they are extremely different, and I don't want you to do it incorrectly. So use the top one in comparison to the EasyBib or the Senate citation machine. Looking at this one, this is just another type of citation from the Occupational Outlook Handbook. High school teachers was the article title, and if you look at it, everything else is the same except for this date and the date that I accessed it. So all the good stuff in the middle should be the same. When I put this on a works cited page, it should go alphabetical order, so accountants and auditors go first, and then high school teachers. Yes, it should be double spaced. I think it doesn't look like it on the PowerPoint, but that's just because I wanted to make it large enough so that it could be seen and to show you the correct order. Now, the Occupational Employment Statistics is another publication that is on BLS. It would behoove you to look at this if you are concerned about where jobs may or may not be, and where the high-paying jobs are, the low-paying jobs. So if you're motivated by those two factors, this would be a good source for you to use. When you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you go to Publications, and you should find the Occupational Employment Statistics, and then you should be able to do a search. This one is for the accountants and auditors. As you can see, this is going to be the article title, and this is the publication title. So make sure you have this one, and in quotation marks, this one italicized. And if I were creating a works cited entry, it would look similar to this one. Again, article title, this is the publication title, and this is the sponsoring organization, and then you have the date that it was published or last updated or posted, the median, and then the actual date that I accessed it. Here are some tips for some works cited. Just quick memory jaunts. Double space within and between entries. Make sure you alphabetize your entries by the first part of the entry, so the article title or the author's last name. However it fits, alphabetize it. And then dates are to be day, month, year. And make sure that you abbreviate the month to the first 3 letters and use a period to indicate that is an abbreviation. Of course, the only month that you would not have to abbreviate would be May, because it consists of 3 letters in itself. And MLA is going to say no URL, that URLs on works cited is going to be up to the instructor. This instructor says no URLs. So if I were to do a sample works cited, this is what it would look like. I want you to pay attention to works is plural. If I only had one source on my page, it would be called work. And then looking at this is the page number. It's hard to tell, but this is a 1/2 inch margin, and then this would be an inch margin. This is my last name, and, well, obviously it's not my last name, but it's the last name of the author. And then the page number. That means it's a continuation of your research paper. What? It's a continuation, which means that you need to make sure that you add your works cited as the next page, the last page of your paper. So I would recommend doing a Control Enter, and that take you to the next page, and then insert your works cited. Note, alphabetized over here, numbers go first. They go before letters. Okay? Make sure your entries end with periods. As you can see, these do. And as always, you can always ask me. However, OwlPurdue is a fantastic source. I'd recommend you perusing that at your leisure before you turn in your paper, though. That way you can hopefully correct some of the issues you may have and answer some of the questions you might have. That's OwlPurdue. Most of you have been there, especially when we've done some exercises in class. This is what the header should look like. Note, author's name, my name, the class and period, and then you have the date. No punctuation in this date. Note that. And then over here would be author's last name, and a page 1 would be over here. It's cut off, though you can't see it. And then title of the report. This is generic, but it's a title. Try and wow me with your title. That's the goal. Now, you've already done some plagiarism tutorials, so we're just going to briefly cover what is plagiarism and what is not plagiarism. So when you're looking at plagiarism, basically the understanding is that it's the offering of words or ideas of another person and trying to pass it off as your own. Plagiarism can be using anyone but your own ideas, words without credit, copying a key, well-worded phrase, inadequate or missing citations, missing quotation marks, or an incomplete or missing works cited entry. So yes, if you submit your research paper and you do not have a works cited and you've cited sources, that is plagiarism. So make sure that you do that correctly, okay? Oh, did you know incomplete? So if you forget a source on your works cited, that technically is plagiarism as well. So be careful of that. Double check your work. Now, in-text citations. When do I need to use them? When do I not need to use them is the big question. I don't need to use in-text citation when I'm looking at common knowledge. Well, what is common knowledge? It's a good thing you asked, because the first item is local knowledge. Second one's shared experiences, and third is common facts. When we look at common knowledge, basically the generic version is if an intelligent person would or should know it, then it's common knowledge. It's also terminology and information from a class. So if you're sitting in class and we're talking about transcendentalism, well, you don't have to cite what transcendentalism is because it should be common knowledge. Also, if you're citing a conversation within the course, that's common knowledge because all the people that participate in it should know it. If you knew the information before you read it, then that's not common knowledge. Also, general knowledge that has been repeated in many sources. So I suggest that you consult at least 3 sources to verify that what you have is or is not common knowledge. The second item is local knowledge. Well, Ohio is the Buckeye State. We all know that. Columbus is the largest city in Ohio. I hope, know that. And Columbus is the capital of Ohio. I hope you know that, or you might be in some major trouble. The third one is shared experiences. As I talked earlier, it's like experiences from coursework or lecture. Example, you should know that Ben Franklin is the quintessential American, because we talked about that when we studied Ben Franklin. Did you like the use of the vocab word? You do remember that word, right? Common facts. Those are information from an almanac, fact book, or dictionary. However, make sure that if you directly quote it, you do cite that source. So if I go to the dictionary and I cite the definition of a word verbatim in my paper, it should be in quotation marks and have a citation with it. When to use in text citations: if it's original idea taken from a source, if it's a summary of an original idea from a source, if it's factual information that is not common knowledge, or any exact wording from a source. So any exact wording from a source, including the dictionary. If it's an original idea taken from a source, every time you use someone else's words, you must cite it verbatim. You need to cite it. You need to put in quotation marks. Your summary of an original idea: you read the content, you summarized it. If it's not your work, it's not your ideas, and it's not common knowledge, you must give credit to that person. Factual information that is not CK, which is common knowledge. If it's not common knowledge, you didn't find it on 3 sources or 2 of 3 sources, an intelligent person wouldn't know it, then you probably need to cite it. Exact wording of any source always needs to be cited. So make sure that you cite it. Now, what items in this paper should you probably cite? Any statistics. That's what your paper is going to be based on. Statistics. How much does this job pay? What is the job outlook percentage? Those are going to be heavy statistics. The other part of the paper would be the college. How much does the college cost? What is the fee, tuition fee, room and board fee? What is the percentage of the job placement? That's part of the colleges, so you'll need to cite that as well. The size of the school, if you choose to give me that the population of the school is 15,000, that's a statistic. You need to do that. But if you say that it's a Division III school or a Division IV school, then you probably do not need to cite that. Okay, that's going to be common knowledge. If you choose to do a citation over the overview of the job, if you do the work requirements, only if you use direct wording. Otherwise, it's going to be common knowledge. Anytime you cite or you summarize the ideas that were given to you from your interview or your job shadow, then you need to cite it. But those really are the only items that you should probably cite. But as always, if you have questions, please, please, please ask. And ask ahead of time. That way we're not crunched for time. Good luck with plagiarism, good luck with works cited, and good luck with your paper.